Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to the first session of StoweActive. So this program's been put together in order to help you stay fit, healthy, and active during this third national lockdown. Okay, I know everyone's stuck at home and we're all going to find it very difficult to stay on top of our physical activity, but there is going to be a session every single day, Monday to Friday, at 3:30, that will be streamed live through Teams and then will be archived on our YouTube channel for you to do every day to make sure that you keep on top of your physical activity. Okay, so the online learning environment that we put together obviously has all of your lessons that happen through the day, and this is just a bit of something to keep you fit, healthy, and active throughout these really hard January months. Okay, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Mr. Coot. I am the head of athletic development, and you will mainly find me in the gym and occasionally running around some of the sports pitches. But I'm going to be with you Monday to Friday, 3:30, live on Teams or live on YouTube as well, actually, I think. And what we're going to do is we're going to try and keep you fit, healthy, and active every single day. Okay, the other availability that you have is Mel is going to be running 3 yoga sessions a week as well, and they're going to be on Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So these sessions are going to be a lot more kind of strength and conditioning based, and then she's going to be working on some yoga and some mobility, and she's going to put together a program for the next 5 weeks running through to half term. So I encourage you to get involved. Try and do as much as you can. I know it's tough, I know it's difficult, but the more you do this, the better you'll feel, the more engaged you'll be, and online learning will feel like, you know, a breeze, a walk in the park. So today, first session, I want to run through with you some fundamental movements, okay? Now, we're going to start off nice and easy. We're going to run through all of the exercises. I'm going to talk you through everything you need to know, so all of the coaching points, and you can then try them out and feel how it is, and then make some changes hopefully. And throughout the course of the next 5 weeks leading up to half term, you're going to hopefully progress, make sure that you feel those exercises a lot better, and hopefully we're going to be absolutely nailing them. Okay? So first one we're going to do is real simple. It's a squat. Okay? So we're going to put our feet shoulder width apart. I'm going to turn my toes slightly out. Okay? That's going to help me push my knees over my toes and engage these muscles behind me called my gluteals. Okay? I'm going to put my hands out in front. If I'm doing a body weight squat, I'll always put my arms out in front. It just helps me balance as well. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to shift my weight backwards, so I'm sinking onto my heels, and I'm going to sit down into a nice low squat, just like this. Okay? I want you to try just standing up, feet shoulder width apart, and sitting down, exactly the same as I'm doing. It's really important to make sure that you feel the movements, and you can feel your quadriceps and your glutes working. Arms out in front, sink down nice and low, and come up. Now, you might not be able to get as low as I can. Okay? I've spent a lot of time practicing this movement, and I've got fairly good mobility, but some of us don't have quite as good mobility, okay? So if you're just coming down to here, then that's fine to start with, okay? We're dropping down. We're almost sitting on a nice low chair. We're going to focus on spreading our weight over the whole of our foot, sinking our body weight back, keeping our chest up and our chin up. So make sure you're looking at the screen in front of you. Sit down and come up again. Good. So we're looking for a slower transition down than we are coming up. Sink and then push up a little bit quicker. Okay, we're going to do about 3 or 4 more of these just to make sure we've got the movement well. Nice. And last one. Perfect. Good. As I said, some of these exercises will feel easier or harder depending on what kind of things you've done in the past, but we really want to focus on making sure that the movement itself is perfect. And then once we start adding weight later on when you get back to school, or if you've got some weights at home, then we can start like trying to improve that strength, that quality. This is all about movement and make sure the movement's perfect. So the next one we're going to do is a split squat, okay? So you might know it as a lunge, but this is a static position. So I'm going to take one step forward. I'm going to spread the weight of my foot over that front foot, okay? All my weight's coming onto that front leg. And my back leg is purely just there to just support me and help me balance. So I'm going to lift my heel up at the back. I'm going to spread my toes in my front leg, which is my right leg to start with. And then I'm dropping my back knee straight down to the floor. And come up and down. Good. I want you to make sure that the whole of your front foot is attached to the floor. Your heel's not coming up. Your toes aren't coming up. We're just sinking down and coming up again. Okay? This is really good for balance, really good for control. Okay? Some of us might feel like we're wobbling. That's fine. Just acknowledge that and try and build on it. So really focus on engaging a lot of these little muscles in our abdominals. Spread your toes in your shoes. That will help have you a bit more proprioception in the front of your leg. And that way you're going to feel that balance a little bit more. So we'll switch legs. So I'll bring my left leg forward now. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see from the side. So front foot out. All my weight is sinking onto the front of my leg. I'm on my toes on my back foot. And I'm dropping my knee down and coming up. Perfect. So, as you can see, my upper body stays pretty still. Okay, I might have a little bit of forward lean, but ideally we're looking for that position to just come up and down. And I'm going in a nice straight line the whole way as I move forward. I'm dropping my back knee all the way down to the floor. Just be careful you don't smash your knee into the floor because obviously that's painful. However, we are looking for that knee to touch. And that means we're getting correct flexion at the knee and at the hip and at the ankle. And that's going to work our glutes, our quads and our hamstrings. So all of these muscles in the major parts of our legs. Okay, the biggest muscles we have. The next exercise we're going to go through is a clean and press. Okay, so a clean and press would normally be done with weight, but we're just going to do it body weight because we're in our bedroom or in our studio or whatever it is. So I'm setting up exactly the same position. Feet shoulder width apart, toes slightly turned out. As I said, turning your toes out slightly will help engage your glutes and open up through the hip joint so you get better mobility. I'm going to bend down. I'm going to touch the ground with my fingertips, and I'm just going to reach straight up over my head. Down and up. A bit more dynamic, this movement. Okay, not as much to think about, but I want you to remember to keep your chest up. Okay, as you can see, I'm looking up towards the camera, and I want you to pick a point in front of you that's probably about eye line or just above eye line. That's going to help keep your back straight, and it means we're not flexing through our spine as much. Okay, this will really start to make us work. And we're opening up through our hips, okay? So my knees are firing over my toes. So if I stop in this position, you can see my knees are over my toes. Don't want them coming too far in. Don't want them going too far out. I want to look down and be able to put a wooden stick all the way through my knee, and it should go into my big toe. So we'll do 5 more of these. This will just get us nice and warm. Down, push, 3, 4, 5. Good. Next exercise we're going to do is a single leg deadlift. Now this is a really tough exercise, and it requires good balance, good control through our abdominals, and to make sure that we're focusing totally on the position the whole time we're going through it. Okay? It is single leg, as it says so in the title. So I'm going to start on my right leg. I'm going to stand on one foot, and I'm going to lift up my other leg and just have it just behind me. Okay? To start with, I'm just looking to balance in this position, and all I'm doing is hinging forward, slight bend in the front leg, and come up. Hinging forward, and come up. Good. Okay, my left leg will come down sometimes just to help me balance, okay? But I'm looking to focus my attention on that front foot, same as the split squat, same as the squat. Trying to spread my toes into my shoe so that I'm creating a really good, strong, stable base. Pick this leg up, this knee comes back. I'm leaning forward, slight bend in the knee. That will make your hamstring work, okay? So you should feel these muscles at the back of your leg start to lengthen, and you should feel the control through there. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see from the side. So, standing on one leg, lift this leg up. Ooh, help me balance. I'm going to hinge forward, slight bend in the leg, and come through. Hinge forward, slight bend in the leg, push my hips back, keep my back nice and straight. Hey. I obviously need to practice this one a bit more. Good. So you're trying to keep your back as straight as you can in this position, chest up, eyes forwards. Okay, we're going to go through all of these exercises at the end as a quick sort of circuit. So this part of the video is just purely to work on those fundamental movements and make sure that we're doing every exercise right. Okay, the next one we're going to do is on the floor, so it's a press up. I am sure you've all heard of press up before, or I hope you have at least. There are a number of progressions and regressions we can do with this. So make sure you find your level. I would much rather you did 10 press-ups with your knees on the floor with correct posture, correct positioning, than trying to smash out 10 half press-ups in a full press-up position. Okay? The movement is the most important thing. The speed is not important. It is about the movement. Okay? So, my hands are going to come flat onto the floor. I'm going to spread my fingers. My thumbs are pointing inwards. That's going to create a nice, strong, stable base for me to set up on. So, hands come flat to the floor. And then my feet are going to be just a little bit pushed out so that I'm increasing my balance just a touch. Fingers spread. My feet are about shoulder width apart. And I'm bending all the way down until my chest hits the floor. And then I push up. And then I come down again. My chin should be just in front of my fingertips. That way, I know that I'm really working my chest muscles and my arm muscles. So you should feel it through your triceps, which are these muscles on the back of your arm, and into your pectorals, which are the ones that attach to the top of the shoulder. So as we extend through the shoulder, you should feel those muscles working. I'm going to turn sideways so you can see me from the side. I want you to maintain this strong plank position. So my hands are flat to the floor, my feet are out, I'm controlled, and my back is flat. Okay, if I'm pushing my bum too high up into the sky, I lose tension through my abdominals. Okay, so I want to create tension through there. I'm going to come down and push up. Good. If this is too hard, we're going to drop our knees down to the floor. Okay? That's all you're going to do. You're going to maintain the same back position. My chest is still coming down in between my hands, and my chin is in front of my fingertips. Okay? If this is still really difficult, you're just going to box yourself off. Okay? So you can see I have a straight line going down to my knee, straight line from my shoulder to my hand, and then I keep my hips high. Okay? These are the three positions that we're going to work on. So, if you need to start in this position, that's fine. If you then want to push your knees back and work a few on them, and then we're working up into our full press-up position. Okay? Find your level, work to your level, don't focus on anyone else. That's the most important thing about this. Focus on the movement. Next one we're going to do is a mountain climber. So, really simple exercise. I'm going to set up in a press-up position, and I'm going to bring my knee to my hand. Okay, so I'll do sideways as well so you can see that. Set up in my normal press-up position. Hands flat to the floor, thumbs facing in, fingers forwards. Hands directly underneath my shoulders, and I bring my knee up to my elbow and back. Knee up to my elbow and back. It is as simple as that. By flexing at the hip here, I'm engaging through my abdominals and I'm working my hip flexor muscles as well. So, really good for everyone who's sat at a desk, slumped in a chair all day. These are going to really kickstart those abs, make them work. Hopefully, if you eat right, you might even be able to see those abs at some point. So, next one is a toe touch. So, we are set up in basically the same position as we were for the mountain climber, and we're going to touch our toes. Real simple. So, set up in a press-up position. For this one, I must pike. So I'm lifting my hips up to the sky, and then all I'm doing is reaching back and touching my toes. I tend to go opposite hand to opposite foot. Don't know if that's necessarily how you have to do it. Just feels more comfortable. You get a bit more rotation at the hip as well. Real hard, this exercise, and it will really start to work through your hamstrings, these big muscles on the back of your legs, and also it's really good for our shoulder stability. Okay, we don't tend to put a lot of weight on our hands on a day-to-day basis, so every time we do, you can find those different positions. It's going to just strengthen the muscles that just sit around the shoulder joint and help like control through there. So the more time we can spend on our hands, the better, basically, because it's going to really strengthen these shoulder muscles, and we'll just develop a really good, resilient shoulder. Next one we're going to do is a walkout, okay? Now, these are hard work, and I, again, must stress, we are not looking at speed on these. We are looking at making sure the movement is perfect. So, I'm going to set up with my feet, again, at shoulder width position. That's going to give me space for me to put my hands down on the floor, okay? So I'm looking set up there. I'm going to bend at the knee and at the hip. So it's not a straight leg hinge forward. I'm bending here, hands down to the floor, and I'm going to walk my hands out into a press-up position and walk back. Okay, again, fantastic for my shoulder stability, fantastic for my shoulder health. Really good as well if you are somebody who struggles to drop down into that nice low squat position, because we're forcing ourselves into that position and we're allowing our hands to kind of rest, which means that our mobility will just improve because I'm coming down into there and walking hands out. Okay, this is pretty easy for you if you're one of those people who finds this nice and easy. We can chuck in a little press before you come back up. Hands down, walk your hands out, keep your back nice and straight, boom, pop up, and come back, okay? Again, total body movement that, and it'll get your heart rate going. You can hear that even from like a few of those repetitions, my heart rate starts to elevate and my breathing rate's increased as well, okay? So really good for working on your lungs as well as working on those muscles as well. So the next one we're going to do is a glute bridge, okay? So this requires lying down on the floor. So I'm going to sit down on the floor like so, and I'm going to bend my knees so my feet are flat to the floor. To start with, I can just put my hands down by my side, and this is going to help with my stabilization. And then all I'm doing is lifting my hips up and coming back down. Good. What I'm trying to do is create a straight line from my shoulder all the way up to my knees. Good. And you're really trying to squeeze these muscles in the back of your legs. So these glute muscles, biggest muscle in your body. So we want to make the most of it. We want it to be the most efficient it can be. And by forcing a contraction in this position through our glutes, we're going to develop good strength, good resilience through that muscle. Okay? It's one of those exercises, because we're forcing that contraction and because it's static at one point, it feels like it fatigues quite quickly, okay? So just, if you need to, you can just stop, rest, give it a second, wait for that fatigue to die down a little bit, and then get back into it. Okay, the most important thing with that is what we're trying to do is we're trying to peel our spine off the floor, drive through our hips, open up through our hip flexors, engage those glutes, and really squeeze, really feel the squeeze, and engage all of those muscles. Next one we're going to do is in exactly the same position. It's called a leg lift. So I'm going to stay down here, and all I'm doing is lifting my legs up. I can go, let's go to 90 degrees, and then you're going to come down. Heels touch the floor, legs come up, okay? Use your hands to stabilize yourself. Come to 90 degrees, and every time you come down, woo, you're going to start feeling your abs working. Also, because we've got this 90-degree bend in our hips, we're forcing a stretch through our hamstrings. Most people tend to have tight hamstrings, so anything that improves hamstring flexibility will be a real bonus. And most of us will benefit from that. So, 2 more. Everyone's favorite. I'm sure you've heard of them. I'm sure you've heard your parents talk about them. And yeah, they just are what they are. Okay? So, when we put ourselves into a plank position, I want you to just take some nice deep breaths, find a happy place, and just try and focus your attention on just holding that position. So, I'll show you stood up. Your elbows and your hands are going to be in a nice straight line like this, dead in front of you. Okay? I want you to have your hands gripped into a fist, and I don't want your hands to come together. Okay, this creates tension through our shoulders, and we want to work our abdominals. So, elbows flat to the floor, fists clenched. Breathe. Okay? So, down I come. Elbows onto the floor. Fists in this position. Back stays flat. Okay? Over time, you're going to start to slump like this. You're going to start to slump, and I just want you to fight it back up. Fight it back up. Engage through your abs. Drive your toes into the floor, squeeze your fists, drive your elbows down, engage your abdominals, and just endure. Just endure the pain, okay? We're not looking to hold those for hours, okay? Once you can take a plank to 3 minutes, then we can start adding in like fun exercises that change our center of gravity, keep it interesting, rather than just holding that plank, okay? But to start with, we're going to build on those fundamental movements. I want you to hold, I want you to engage, I want you to keep that position really nice and strong. And then we can start to build on the rest of it. Okay, the last one we're going to do is a side plank. So, it's exactly the same as a plank in terms of we are holding. So, I'm going to put my elbow flat to the floor. My hand's going to come out in line. So I want straight line in line with my shoulder, okay, with a 90-degree bend at the elbow. Straighten those legs, and we come up and lift our hips up, okay? I want you to lift your hips as high as you can, and we want a nice, straight position from there, okay? This is really tough. You're going to bend at the knee, and we're going to lift through that position. If you need to, you can just straighten that leg out, and helps stabilize as well, okay? But we're looking to really extend, create space underneath here, engage through our abs. This is going to work that side. Then obviously we'd have to flip over and do the other side. Right. We have gone through all of those exercises, right? To finish, for the next sort of 5 minutes, we're going to do a set of every single exercise. So, think about the cues I gave you. Think about how the movement's supposed to look. If you need to, this video will be on YouTube, on the Stowe YouTube channel. Go to it, re-watch this video, see how the positions are, see what it's supposed to look like, listen to the cues I've given you, and make sure you're doing that movement perfectly. So, you've got 3 options. If you are relatively new to this, if you're a beginner, you're going to do 10 reps of each exercise. If you are kind of an intermediate, or if you're happy with some of the movements and you're feeling strong, we're going to go through 15. And if you really want to kind of work yourself hard this afternoon, then we're going to do 20 reps of each one. Okay, so just work through it with me. I'm going to do 20, so you've got enough time to do the 20. If you want to stop after 10 or stop after 15, catch your breath, grab a bottle of water, whatever it is, then just jump back in on the next exercise. So, feet shoulder width apart, chest up, chin up, squats. I'm going to sit down and up. Five, perfect. 10, right, halfway there. Just focus on the movement. Don't think about how quickly we're going. Just think about making sure that movement is perfect every time. Lost count, I was chatting. 3, 2, last one. 1, good, shut those legs off. Right, split squat. I'm gonna do 20 on the right and then 20 on the left. Oh, I've gone left to start with. Okay, back knee comes down. 2, 3, 4, 5. Good, if you need to shake it off, that's fine. My legs are starting to work. What you might feel is that your hip flexors are a little bit tight, okay? When we sit down for long periods of time, it just means that our hip flexors tighten up, and this position will just help stretch them out. Okay, we've got 2 more on this side. 1, 2, good. We're going to change legs, so 20 on the right. Spread my weight over that front foot. Take my foot back, create space, and let your knee just drop down into it. Good, so if you've already started, if you're going for 10 or 15 or 20, just work through it. Good, knee comes all the way down. Make sure we're focusing on that movement. Perfect, I'm just gonna have a little shake out. I've got 10 more to go. Woo! Okay, we're going to shake the legs out. So, next one's our clean and press. We're going to go quite quickly for this because we want to just build up a little bit of breathing. We're going to touch our toes, reach up to the sky. So, if you're just doing 10, just do your 10. Have a little breather. Watch me sweat. If you want to go for 15, that's fine. Or if you want to join me in the 20s, here we go. Nice. Turns out talking and counting is actually really tough. So that's probably 10. Oh, good. So make sure, sinking those hips down, reaching up overhead. Nice and dynamic. Not really much you can do wrong with this exercise. Just make sure we're keeping our back nice and flat. So the next one is our single leg deadlift. We're going to do 10 on each leg for this because this is pretty tough. So stand on our right, Good. Touch the floor. Keep your balance. Good. Making sure. Slight bend in the leg. Chest goes up. Eyes stay forward. Back stays nice and straight. So we'll just do 10 on each side to make up our 20. Or if you want to just do 5 on each side, that's fine. 15 obviously doesn't split in 2, so I'd probably maybe go for 8 on each side, just to keep it interesting. Okay, onto the other leg. Back nice and straight. Keep that balance. Legs will be a little bit tired after the first lot. So come down. Touch. Touch. We're really looking forward to hinging those hips. And trying not to rotate like I just did. Okay, straight into our press ups. So focus on making sure the movement is perfect. Every time. Hands flat, feet shoulder width, chest down. If you need to drop onto your knees, you can, obviously. If you need to box it out, you can. Just work on your particular movement. Lost count again. I'm going to go for another 4. Nice. Mountain climbers. So, knee comes up to your elbow, knee comes up to your other elbow. Go sideways just so you can keep back nice and flat. We're not looking to move too quickly with these ones. Making sure we're really focusing that attention on the ab squeeze. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Wonderful. Toe touches. Woo! So remember, we're piking at the hips, so we're pushing our hips up to the sky and then touching. Good. You can stop at 10 if you want to. Or you can come all the way through to 20. Wonderful. Doing good. Walkout. So, it's a really tough exercise. We're going to go full tilt. We're going to go all the way through to 20. If you want to stop at 15 or if you want to stop at 10, that is fine. Hands down. Walk out. And walk back. Walk it out. And walk back. Starting to get a sweat on. Good. Make sure we're keeping the movement perfect every time. Every time we go through, driving our hips down, coming into that full press up position, and then coming back. Really good for our shoulder stability. Good, we're over halfway there. 9 to go. If you want to stop at 10, or if you're going slightly slower, that is fine. It's all about improving yourself, not working on what anyone else is doing. Just focus on your movement, making sure that every single one is perfect. Good. Lost count again, so I'm going to do 3 more. And last one. Perfect. Glute bridge. So, sitting down on the floor, back nice and flat, eyes up, fingers just pressed into the floor. Bring your heels nice and close, hips up and squeeze. Really focus on engaging those glute muscles at the top. We're really trying to focus our attention on squeezing those muscles. Should feel those hamstrings and those glutes really starting to work in this exercise, and that's perfect. Our posterior chain tends to be neglected, especially when we're not moving around as much. So during the online learning experience, sitting at your computer for long periods of time, these muscles are ones that we neglect quite often, so really make sure we're working on them. I'm going to do 2 more. Perfect. Okay, leg lifts. So flat to the floor and lift up. Come down, just touch, and 2. Stop at 10 if you have to. Okay, we can have a little rest here. Go on to 15 or 20 if you need to. Good, last 4. Ooh, that is an ab burner. Nice, we've got 2 exercises left. Okay, so we're going to do 30 seconds in the plank, and then we're going to do 15 seconds each side for the side plank. Okay, are you ready? Are you steady? Go. So, into that position. Elbows down, fists clenched, feet back. Nice, I'm just trying to time that on my watch here. Okay, so we're 10 seconds in. Halfway there, perfect. So elbows down, fists clenched. Find that happy place. We've got 10 more seconds. Keep that back nice and flat. Keep your eyes in front of your hands. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. And then last thing, we're going to turn sideways. We're going to try our side plank. So we're going to do 15 seconds on each side for this. Are you ready? Ooh. Steady. Go. Perfect. So make sure we're lifting through the hips. Hand stays down by the side. We're staying in a nice stable position. Good. We're going to do 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good. We're going to switch it round. Other side. Remember, if we need to, we can just bend our knees, or you can extend that one out just to stabilize. So for the last 15 seconds, ready, up we go. Good. Really create space between those, between your hips and the floor. Good. Nice and stable. Keep your neck in a nice neutral position. Got 5 more seconds. 4, 3, 2, 1. Fantastic. Great work, everyone. Hope you've enjoyed that. I hope you've learned something. Remember, you can go back, check the movements, check the cues, make sure you're doing it right, and join me again tomorrow for a slightly different session, but it will keep us active, keep us fit, keep our minds working. Okay? I look forward to seeing you tomorrow, 3:30 here, live on Teams.